Hello everybody, Laigha here, also known as the Accessible Media Maven, back with another video. I'm trying out something new. You see, I'm currently making video essays over on my second channel, or maybe it's my first channel now, and on here I really wanted to get back to my roots with lifestyle content. I know that the productivity videos haven't always been loved, but that's what I like making over here. I am hoping that I will make more video essays on this channel, but I think I'm probably going to limit those to about once a month. I don't really know exactly what the content is going to look like over here. I think it's going to be a mix of things I've done in the past. You know, you saw a New Year's Day vlog. This is like a sit down check-in with my goals video. There will probably be some story time videos. And then, like I said, I would like to do some video essays, and not like media video essays like I make over on my second channel, but like disability, life. I don't want to call them poverty, but like, you know, lower income, because I realized that I really experienced a lot when I lived in Iowa. It's very weird to go from living at $35K a year to now living at $55K a year. And so I thought that I think that there are things that I can share and talk about that I definitely didn't have the space to share and talk about before, because when you're living in that lifestyle where you are struggling a lot, you don't really have the ability to stop and think and be like, oh wow, I'm actually having a hard time. If you notice that this is a different setup, a different hairstyle for me, a different background with me sitting on my couch, well, it's because I'm trying to create like a visual distinction between the two channels. Over on the author, it's a lot of very polished, very put together Laigha. I actually have like a wardrobe that I use only for those videos. I also have like things that I do, and whereas with these videos, I think the idea is more taking you inside my life, and that's what this channel has always been about, right? I started it as a vlog channel in 2021 on December 5th, and I just wanted to vlog my life. I've learned that I'm actually really good at sit-down videos and actually just going off script. So I want to continue for this to be an inside my life thing, but I also want to continue to have my video essay thing. I will eventually do like a week in my life as an unpaid content creator to show you what it looks like, because actually I have like a really solid pipeline, but it is 6:45 on a work day, which means that in like 20 minutes I have to start making my lunch. So what I want to do is go through, so I don't remember if I posted on here or not, but I did make mini goals for 2025, and I want to go through them with you. Again, another video idea I have is to talk about how my life just kind of fell apart in, I don't know, February. About the time that I started on Manjaro, my life just completely fell apart. And so I thought that this would be fun. I was watching one of the productivity YouTubers that I like to watch at the beginning of the year, and she was talking about her goals, and I thought that it would be fun to go through my goals. And while I thought that it would just be a complete mess because my life fell apart, I actually found out that I hit a lot of my goals. So I'm just gonna get into them. I have my notes over here on my computer, but I'm not really gonna be reading off of them because that's not what I do on this channel. So the first goal that I had on this list was to publish 22 videos. And I think it was specifically to publish 22 videos after Inauguration Day, which I believe was on January 20th. And much to my surprise, I actually accomplished this. So I had published 9 videos in total on this channel. I think I was doing like 2 a week for a little while, And then I went over to my new channel, which is my video essay channel. And over there, I posted, depending on how you want to count it, if we want to count my Sharon and Luke video for this year or for last year, either 13 or 14. My second goal was to publish 12 chapters of fan fiction. Originally, this was supposed to be for my Secrets of Dumbledore fan fiction, which kind of flamed out. But I did publish, apparently, according to my notes, 24 chapters of fan fiction. I spent basically from like May through I think July posting twice a week of Fire Country fan fiction. I did this primarily in the stories Lifelines and Waking Up. And I also wrote, I think there were 3 extra stories. There was 2 Empty Beds, The Mistake, and The Worst Night. And The Worst Night actually had 2 chapters. It had a Vince chapter and a Luke chapter. So I published just a bunch of fan fiction last year. I love going into Archive of Our Own to look at stats, and I oftentimes consider 2022 to be my golden year. It was the year that I wrote basically from May up through the end of the year, and in that year I wrote 150,000 words of fan fiction. This past year I wrote 126,000 words of fan fiction. I didn't get nearly the hits that I got, but also Fire Country is not super famous on Archive of Our Own. Now, to be fair, I will say that the top pairing on Archive of Our Own this year was for the 911 series, and let me tell you, I think that some people that I follow are like the entire count of those stories, because I'm like every single day getting a notification that they wrote a new story, which I love. So I guess I can't really use the excuse that it's networked, but I can use the excuse that there aren't that many Fire Country fan fictions, and I have quite a few hits for what exists. Another goal that I had was that I wanted to get a B in both of my classes. I'm just going to say this, I dropped out of my master's program. I found that the rigid deadlines were too stressful for me. Even though I think that I had plenty of time to do the work, it was just the requirement, the fact that I had to do it, and I would get overwhelmed and not feel good. And, with my video essays now, I try to work ahead so that I have a buffer, so that I can just, take a week off, or even just a day off if I don't feel good. And with class, you can't really do that. The deadlines aren't movable. You can't work ahead. So I did end up getting an A in my executive leadership class, and I ended up with a C in my capstone. Originally I was going to take incomplete. I didn't finish the incomplete, so I took a C. I do credit working on the master's program for 8 months with giving me the discipline and dedication to be able to have a YouTube channel, to be used to, getting up at 5:30 and working on videos for an hour in the morning, and then working again for 2 hours at night. I do completely credit that to having my master's program, but I realized that it was too much for me to do both, so I did drop out. That being said, I do want to say that the class that I have now, I largely have because of my master's program. The 2 classes that I have left are things that I already can do because I was a journalist, and before that I was a political intern. So I already know how to do paid engagement, and I already know how to track legislation. So my boss often says that I functionally have an MPA even if I don't have the letters behind my name. Another goal on this list that I wanted to accomplish is that I wanted to outline my original fiction, and this just did not happen. It's really hard to explain why. I don't know if I just lost interest in it. I noticed that I have a hard time writing protagonists my age, which is kind of funny because I learned how to write using not quite author inserts, but I would say that Cameron probably is kind of an author insert. Olivia less so, but I just found it really hard to write Julia's perspective, and so the outline didn't happen. But I will say that my thoughts on outlining have changed a bunch between when I wrote the Delicate series and writing Lifelines in its anthology. And if that is something you want to hear more about, let me know, because I mean, I did write, about 126,000 words in Lifelines in its anthology. Oh, I also forgot. I guess I forgot Vince's Goodbye as one of the side stories, but I also think of Vince's Goodbye as chapter 1 of Waking Up. But that's neither here nor there. The next thing that I have on my list, and something that was really important to me, is that I wanted to get a new job. There were problems at my old job, and also I wanted to have a job that gave me enough of a raise that I could pay my student loan payment without it being a crunch. And thankfully I did that. I now work for the Medicaid division of our state instead of, so our state has the Public Health Agency, the Environment Agency, and the Medicaid Agency all together in one department. And I went from working in the Public Health division of that department to now working in the Medicaid division of that department. It's a job that I love. I do a lot of really good work, and while I definitely think that my work in public health was meaningful, this is just the type of meaningful work that I enjoy. Another goal that I stepped away from, just like with my original fan fiction, was my posting one Endless Fakers video a quarter. Endless Fakers really gave me an opportunity to do video essays, but they weren't hyper scripted. Like, my video essays for Fire Country are 6 to 9 pages long. They are scripted. I read the script out, how I'm looking over here at my laptop. I literally have a full script that I will record from. And Endless Fakers, I think, really built the scaffolding, just like I think how narrating my Fire Country fanfictions to my mom, like it was an audiobook, also built the scaffolding that I needed to be able to get to where I was. However, I think that Endless Fakers was a really draining series. I think that emotionally, when you have chronic illness, variable illness, it can be difficult to go into spaces where you know that people are bullying others, spaces where you know that the intent is to tear others down. And while I can look at Jackie's videos, because I've watched all of her content 4 times, I used to marathon it when I was stressed or when I was sick, it's really hard because while I did a lot of research with Danny, there are a lot of people that I haven't done a lot of research on. I may eventually go back to posting Endless Fakers videos because I know that those are my most popular content. So I will probably try to fold those into the mix again. We'll see what happens when I make my goals, which is hopefully going to be the video that I make next week. The final goal on this sheet, which I had set as a moonshot goal that I couldn't believe actually happened, was that I set a goal for myself of an A1C of 9, and my last A1C, which was taken, I believe, in November, was 8. And I understand that for diabetes, the goal is really 7 and below, but I've lived a life where my A1C has been as high as 14, and it's been as low as 5.5. If you haven't been around for a long time, in 2022, when I lost my job, it kind of started this horrible spread where we thought that metformin was making me sick. It was not. It just happened to correlate. So I went off metformin and I was solely insulin dependent, and that went very, very badly. Led to many ER trips, many hospital stays, and now with the help of a phenomenal endocrinologist who works here in Topeka, and actually I switched my insurance so I could make sure that I did not jeopardize my care with him. I am now at an 8. Actually, I think that if I look at my GMI, a little measure that Dexcom does where it tells you about where you are at, I believe that my GMI for the last 90 days was actually at like 7.0. Yeah, my GMI was at 7.0, which is right in range. And for the last 30 days, which really measures since we've made medication changes and it captures my holiday chaos that happened over the holidays, I'm 80% in range, with most of my highs coming in the morning, which has been a problem that I've had since 2021. I start higher in the morning, and then at night I'm like shoveling food in my face so that I can go to sleep and be safe. It's been an epic journey, let me tell you. But I'm working really hard. I'm trying to sustain what I have now. And I think that when I eventually make my story time about how I almost died 3 days after I started a new job, you'll see that for me, it's been a long road here. It's been a long road to get back to 8. I will say I think I was at 7.5 before I started my work for the state, and it's just been a journey. I started 2025 with an A1C of 11, or maybe 11 was the A1C I had when I almost died. This goal was made in August of 2024 after I had my first visit with my endocrinologist, and at that point I was seeing him once a month. Now I go once every 3 months for checkups, though I may be going in a little bit earlier because I have been having to not take the majority of my insulin doses except in the morning. So really, I've made so much progress in this area that it's kind of insane for me to believe that it happened. So these were my goals for 2025, and I think that the point of this video, the point I wanted to make, and apparently my hangers fell because this is also where I do my laundry and watch Fire Country while I do my laundry, because that's the only way I can trick myself into doing laundry. Not really, it's not tricking, it's just a hack for someone who has executive dysfunction problems. The message here is that I set these goals, and I think they were both ambitious and conservative at the same time. I wanted to set goals with the assumption that I would be okay, that I would be able to continue to do things. And I'm really proud of how far I've come, how I've really gotten my life together since I've gotten this new job and been in a new place. Like, yes, I know I almost died at the beginning of the job, and I'm starting to go through a rough patch again, not related to the job, just related to being someone that has struggled with depression since I was 8. But I'm really proud that I've done so much. I've gotten a new job, I have had insane creative output, and I really hope that this year continues to be a good year. I'm not going to do anything crazy, like hope that I write 250,000 words like I had set for 2023, because it made me fall apart. But I do want to work on setting these really reasonable goals, and then when I look back on the year, I can be like, yeah, I set out to do something and I did it. But that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are enjoying me being back. Depending on when this video goes out, hopefully it's going out on Friday. There will be a new Fire Country video on Friday, and the Friday after that, and the Friday after that. Just like we're in season, because I realized that I need to publish my little 3-minute Mully video before I publish my queer events essay. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm enjoying being back, and have a great day, y'all.